Why am I so critical of my husband? My name is Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I'm going to try to not give you just some blow you off kind of answer or make you responsible and just leave you with nothing. I'm going to try and give you something that is going to be useful. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go further, that you can't take what I offer you as a first step towards really improving your marriage, because let's face it, when you got married in order to be happy. In fact, you got married in order to be happier every single day of your life. And I'm not just saying this. To me, this is a very practical thing. And for all of our clients who take our courses, whether it's the men's course for marriage or the women's course for marriage, or who read one of my books, this is what the expectation should be when you get married. It should be to be happy. Isn't that why you got married? So you're not happy. And you're recognizing that you're overly critical of your husband. And I would suggest that being critical of your husband at all is being overcritical of your husband. Because where is that coming from? It's not coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of support, even if you don't express it outwardly. It's coming from a place, and this is what we should have been learning as children. It's coming from a place of the mind being controlled by our biology. Because our biology, as you know very well, we all learned this, is that one of the conditions of life is the innate drive to survive. And criticalness is a reaction, which means that something is threatening in our mind. We're afraid that we're not going to survive. And because we don't learn this, and how it all works and the ramifications, we go through life being overly sensitive. Now, it's not a criticism to say you're overly sensitive, because almost everyone is. I remember many years ago, I was sort of screening the therapists that I would train. And I had someone call 100 therapists in San Diego, and I met with 20 of them, and I ended up only training 13. Why? Well, we have conditions at the Marriage Foundation for who represents our principles. And it all can be learned. You should be learning these principles too, because they're all about making your marriage amazing. But I wanted to start with therapists who were open. And one of the big things that is important to be open to is who you are as a human being. And therapists, in my opinion, almost all of them, are trained in a way that suggests that we are merely psychological beings. And that isn't so. So the first question that my representative asked these therapists was, do you believe that you are a soul? Or do you believe that you have a soul? Now, the truth of the matter, and you're going to go, well, that's your opinion, if you're inclined to do so, is that we are all souls. We are souls. And we have a body, and we have a mind. Now, we are residing in this body, and this body is biological. And the biological body is driven to survive. So the mind we have a choice. We have free will, right? You'll acknowledge we have free will. We have a choice. Do we listen to ourselves, which is the soul, or do we listen to the body? Now, it's a choice when I present it to you that way. But if no one has ever educated you about this proposition, and you don't have to call yourself a soul, you could just call yourself consciousness, but you have a self-awareness. You have the ability, yes you do, to choose constantly. You could choose going this way, going that way, feeling positively, feeling negatively, but we're not trained early on in our life to know that. And so we're sucked into this trap of feelings. Well, I feel this way about that. Well, he never should have said that to me. Who does he think he is? So what's happening there is when you're critical and as a result overtly defensive in many cases, your drive to survive is being triggered. It's instinctive at that level. It comes up to the mind and the mind takes over. Now it's fairly, I'm not going to say it's complicated because for me it's simple. I understand it so well and I explain it, I think, pretty well in the courses especially, but also in the books, so that you can understand that when I react, quote unquote, it's not I who is reacting, but it's the mind that is influenced by my biological body. And you can see so many variations in different people as to what they consider threatening and what they don't. Because what happens is this instinct comes up into the mind and operates at a different level. But it's not a good level because it's not the level of you as a soul. So here's what it is. Why am I so critical of my husband? Is because you're operating from a place of the mind instead of the place of the heart. You've met people, I'm sure, who never have a bad word to say about anyone. And you could tell they're sincere. You could tell that they really don't see the bad in people. In my own case, for instance, because I also had to train myself, just like you need to now, out of this condition of being a slave to this instinct, I used to be very judgmental. Now, I can't say I completely got rid of it, but I can tell you that I'm much more conscious of it now. And when I am feeling judgmental, usually I stop myself. But I can also tell you that the me now compared to the me of 10 years ago, much more, 20 or 30 years ago, barely sees evil in people, and certainly not resentment towards them when they act in an evil manner. So rather than, I've trained my mind so that instead of being critical of people, I feel deep compassion for them. Because I know when they make mistakes, like I used to, like I still do, the only one who suffers from our individual mistakes is ourself. It's a universally accepted principle by most people who have any spirituality going whatsoever, to recognize that the perpetrator of evil is ultimately the sufferer of that evil that they're perpetrating. So when you're critical of your husband, stop and step back and say, wow, how is he hurting himself here? Now, if you're going, whoa, look how much he's hurting me, or look how stupid that is, that's a defensive screen that you have put up, and you don't want to look at something because there's no reason for you to add criticalness to what you're observing. We observe stupidity all around us. Democrats observe stupidity in Republicans. Republicans observe stupidity in Democrats. And in both cases, they're both probably right from a particular point of view. But isn't it better to rise above that plane and go, yeah, everyone has to mature? Because it's only immaturity, right? So here's what you do. When you're feeling critical towards your husband, catch it then. Don't wait until it manifests. Catch it then, because otherwise that thought is going to act like a snowball going down a hill, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The momentum will make you so critical that you even lose sight of the little thing that initially triggered you. So rule number one is stop. Just stop. And say to your mind, remember, you're the soul, say to your mind, well, stop. No ands, ifs, or buts. We do not have to get caught up in whatever it is we're being critical of. And then take a look at it a little more objectively. And in fact, sometimes say, if I were a saint, would I be critical? If I were a great rabbi, a very high imam, a Christian saint living in the desert and fasting, would I be critical? Because that's who you are. You're a soul. All right, that may be too big of a concept to put into this video, but I think it's valuable to remember that we are the ones who reduce ourselves by allowing our minds to bring us down to the level of a frightened animal. We are much better than that. You're much better than that. So here, let's do this. Don't just stop, but breathe in, hold the breath, and let it out. That slows down the heart. The breathing and the heart are tied together. It slows everything down, which calms you down. And the more you're able to approach your life from a calm point of view, I promise you, the happier you'll be. Because innately, being souls, we are happy. We're joy itself. And I don't mean happy, oh boy, I won the lottery. I mean happy, contented, satisfied, at ease, relaxed. You know, it's one of the most critical parts of being married, is to have control over your own mind, to be in tune with your own heart, to be love, so that when you speak, when you touch, you're communicating love. Because that's the other reason you got married, is so that you could experience unconditional love. So beautiful. People have no idea what they're missing. Marriage is such an amazing institution when you understand it. It becomes a vehicle of the highest order, producing so much happiness. Like you're walking on a cloud all the time. And you deserve to have that. So don't let these little things get in the way of that. Learn about marriage. It'll change your life. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you benefited. I know that the stuff that I share is not out there. And I hope that you're able to see that if you take this further, you can have a marriage. You can have a marriage that's going to make you giddy with happiness. It's true. So you can subscribe to these videos. You can share, like, leave a comment. And my blessings to you, my blessings to your husband and family, and relax. Everything is okay. You just need to learn, and you'll be great, not just fine. Never settle for a mundane marriage. Have the best. All right. Take care, and God bless.